Welcome to episode 5 of the Pluribus podcast, affectionately known as Pluribus. For the sake of convenience, we're pronouncing it with an I. Anyway, this is Pluribus, the one and only podcast, your go-to spot for all things related to the upcoming series. I'm your host, Makram, joined by my other amazing host, Ele.
Hello.
And together, we'll share our love, theories, and deep dives into the show, along with reviews of each episode as they release on Apple TV Plus on our after show. Whether you're listening on Spotify or on the Pluribus, the one and only podcast YouTube channel, thank you for tuning in. And hey, I'm here to be happy.
And I'm definitely here to be happy.
Yes, sir? Consensus. We're all definitely here to be happy. And I know you're here to be happy too.
In this episode, we're going to discuss the teasers, the texts, and anything else that we received in between the last teaser and text podcast and minicast that we did. And we'll close off with a new listener theory sent through the submission form.
All right. So the first teaser is titled, How's the Flight? We're going to play it for you right now. Okay, so I have thoughts.
Yeah.
Like I always do with these promotional
I would hope
items.
so.
Yeah, and I'm interested to hear your thoughts after this, Ellie. But I've noticed that this is the first teaser where we see someone else with Carol, and she appears to be the same character who offered Carol a bottle of water in the teaser trailer, which we'll get to in a bit. She doesn't seem to get the hint either way. Yeah, I'm still very confused. Do you have an idea what's going on?
I don't know. This one, I'm not really sure the purpose of this teaser, I'll be honest, because we saw
that was a still image before.
Yeah, we saw the still image, and when I saw this, I was just like, I just kind of, I think at this point I was like, I'm ready for just an actual trailer. I think it was
breaking news. Carol just made eye contact with someone. Okay.
Yeah, but it was the first one where she actively interacts with someone else in some way. I don't know if that's Wydra or someone else. I don't actually know because we'll get onto it later, but I think she's actually in the next one. I don't know who that is, so I'm very confused. Or maybe it's both her. I'm very confused because they look quite similar. The main thing that I got from that was that you could hear the handcuffs at the end, and it almost sounded like they were being undone. And I'm wondering, was she actually like cuffed to the seat? And
then who would be who's the pilot of that plane? Who's trying
I don't know.
Who would be her captors in that?
I don't know. I don't think it would be the same plane as the next teaser, which we'll get onto. Because this looks like just
it looks like a commercial.
It looks like a commercial family plane, right? But I think maybe the girl in front of her maybe's kind of watching over her because.
Ooh, okay.
And because she's the only one there. I don't know who's flying the plane though. I have no idea. Someone obviously is. It's not going auto.
Also, what's to say that the plane has even taken off yet? I mean, what if it's still docking or hasn't moved yet? Like, what if she still has an opportunity to exit the plane? Like, maybe she's about to take her flight. She realizes, okay, screw that. I don't want to be around these one of many in a line of stalkers, and these texts I've been receiving from this cult or hive mind. I mean, I'm going to book another flight. So maybe she's like, you know what? I'm out.
Yeah.
But that's probably after the teaser. But speaking of planes, the second teaser, which is titled Preparing for Takeoff, have a look. Okay. You know what? You want to begin with your thoughts, Ellie, of this teaser?
Yeah. So is this Hydra? I don't know. This looks more like Hydra to me. But then any like stills I've seen, I'm so confused. Where is she? Which one is she? She looks very, very, very messed up in this clip. She looks like she's really been through it. But she kind of looks like the girl on the plane earlier who was smiling and in some stills. So I'm very confused. I don't actually know. Because we don't have a full cast list as far as I'm aware.
And she looks very like battle worn as well. Like her face is covered in...
Yeah, she looks like she's been in a fight or like she's got out of something.
And she's like, maybe it's like she's going mission to mission. I mean, could she be a part of some resistance? Like one composed of people who are quote unquote different and need to be fixed. Again, we can expand more on this once we get to the full official teaser trailer, because that kind of establishes what appears to be a hive mind trying to fix whatever is making some people immune to this happiness virus. But we'll get to that shortly. Anyway, I think if this character is a part of some resistance, and they don't even have to be fighters, it could be a relief crew, since Coast Guard planes are also utilized for search and rescue, which would be a preeminent tool for world building if there is some kind of resistance. Maybe if there's something like an anecdote of a vaccine that can, get people out of this alleged hive mind, and they're gatekeeping that. And so, they're trying to raid the labs that are containing them or something. They could be tapping into some espionage tropes where maybe she's a spy. One more thing that I noticed as well is that this is the first trailer out of many that isn't Carol-centric. Now, the first teaser wasn't Carol-centric, the donut lady, obviously.
I was going to say.
But there are more teasers as those teasers were coming out. We've been seeing mostly Carol or references to Carol. So
it's the first it's the first other main character that we've had a teaser for, because the first one I still stand by the fact that I think she's just like an extra. I don't think she's like gonna be a mainstay, but this is the first this is the first like deuteragonist or however you say the word.
I mean, yeah, but I mean, I don't know. I know it looks like a Coast Guard plane, but what if like, are there any other ideas of how you can identify it as? I mean,
somebody on the Discord literally identified the plane as the Lockheed C-130 Hercules, which is a military transport aircraft.
Yeah, that's it. I couldn't think.
We couldn't really get a good look at the airport itself. We think there might be some digital compositing with the palm trees, so we don't actually know where it's based. It could be in Spain, it could be in somewhere else in Europe, it could be in anywhere in North America, it could be in South America. We honestly don't know, but we at least know it's a military aircraft. And also, I think she looks like she knows what she's doing in that cockpit.
Are there as she's entering into the plane, are there hills? Like, are there like you mentioned, like they're probably like palm trees that are cropped out or whatever. But yeah, as I'm looking at the visual composition for the exterior of the plane, do you think there is a silhouette of, what appears to be hills as well? Do you think there's civilization there? It's further enough away so that if there is civilization, it's understandable why we can't see any buildings because of the distance. But it could be anything. But this is an exquisitely shot teaser. I mean, all in all. And
100%.
It feels more cinematic as well.
It's
just someone operating a plane.
Feels grander,
And also, it also indicates that Albuquerque is not going to be the only location that they're going to be exploring in the series. I mean, she could fly anywhere. And I mean, in Breaking Bad, aside from when Gus flew to Mexico, there wasn't much flying to one location to another. I mean, there was border crossing, but it's upgraded Vince's project to a global scale as opposed to being just local. So yeah.
Yeah, his his stuff is generally, I mean, I haven't seen the X-Files, but like Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul, they're definitely more localized. They're not as grand as I feel like Pluribus is going to be. So yeah, it's interesting.
Okay, dokie. As of this recording, this is the last teaser out of many other teasers that have come out. The official teaser trailer. We're going to play some of it for you right now.
Rest assured, Carol, we will figure out what makes you different.
Figure it out, why?
So we can fix it. So you can join us. We feel like we're doing all the talking here. Are there any questions you might have for us, Carol?
I guess to start with, what the
This teaser is it's freaking insane. I mean, I have really so many thoughts.
Yeah.
Speaking of thoughts, the president or leader of this.
He's so creepy. He gives me Scientology vibes.
The way he delivers the line, like, this must be so bewildering for you. I'm like, oh my God, that stood out to me. The way he just was like, there's a crack of emotion mixed with all this artificialness. I can't even put a finger on why is he speaking in this way. And so, speaking of thoughts, this person who's communicating with Carol, could he be doing it through some telepathic transmission? He's inside her head communicating. I mean, because aside from the happiness virus, it would explain why he's so shameless about corresponding with Carol on a public broadcast.
Yeah.
I mean, it could be a Charles Xavier kind of situation where he just hacks into her mind and then projects that image and sound of him talking. Or maybe it's none of that. Maybe everyone is just so happy that they just don't care about what this weird man who's trying to talk to someone called Carol a second thought. Actually, you know, the more I think about it, the latter actually makes more sense. You know, people just don't give the fact that someone is trying to harass someone called Carol on public podcast another thought. I mean, so either way, this trailer is utter insanity. Also, hype-inducing.
Yeah.
I mean, the build-up of these previous texts, getting us accustomed to the language utilized by that supposed hive mind.
That's a very good point, actually. Yeah.
Yeah, in this eerie, artificial dialogue that we're hearing spoken for the first time. And you know what it also feels like as well? It's like someone just put these text messages in text to voice. They just put that as the audio for this trailer. One more thing. If you go on Apple TV Plus, there is the extended trailer with more footage called the vertical trailer. And you will notice that you get to see more of whoever's manufacturing this virus. I mean, I assume they're manufacturing the virus. So in one frame, you see these lab syringes. They're putting liters of chemicals, 30 to 300 for that unit, as well as the amount in each vial. And then we see Carol dumping the water in front of this strange woman who's been following her around, trying to get her food and water. And I'm wondering as well, like, why don't they want her to stay at home for the next few days? I mean, it's like she's on house arrest. They're trying to make it seem like that's on her terms, or like we're doing her a solid. This isn't a punishment. This is a matter of looking after her welfare. Anyway, that's enough of my own rambling on about this teaser. What do you think about it?
So, I mean, the main thing that I just thought about the whole time was I just love Carol. Her speaking is just exactly how I thought she would be.
Like, what the fuck? Oh my God.
Yeah. I genuinely think she could take over someone like Villanelle in my trifecta of amazing women in media, which would be funny because it would be two Ray Seahorn characters. But just the middle finger. Her flipping the bird was so good, and like I'm really hoping that she is able to swear a lot. I don't know how Apple does that, because I know platforms like HBO you can swear more, but I know that like AMC you have to be a bit more restrained. So I'm just hoping that Apple is more on the swearing side.
I'd imagine Apple TV is much more lenient, because I've seen many of their
was there swearing
other projects on their gallery. Like, there was I think plenty of like.
Really. I don't remember that, really. I don't remember any F-bombs in Severance. I 100% accept that I could be wrong because my memory's terrible. But I don't know, and I haven't really seen much other Apple shows.
I don't think it's a matter of a network restricting how much profanity you're allowed to have in your script. There are many things that are like, if they're overdone, if they're too gratuitous, if we don't fit the story, which includes, excessive use of profanity. I think Vince Gilligan is a competent enough writer who knows, like, if you want to make those F-bombs sing, make them rare, like make them stand out so we can know what's going on. Carol strikes me as someone who's miserable. She's hiding in her own shell. She's expressive in the sense that she flips the bird. She knows what she wants. She makes that known to people. But at the same time, she strikes me as more like she's still withholding back a few of her emotions. I would imagine if she does use when she does use the F-bomb, it's one of the rare times she does do it. Because even for Carol, who's inside her own shell, this situation has gotten so bizarre that she's had enough of it. She's letting out, a few bottled up exclamations, for lack of a better word.
I also noticed I think it was on the television when the president was talking to her, and there was a little annotation saying landlines only. Like, why though is the real question. You can tap into landlines. I don't really get why they're like that about the landlines. Can't you easily tap into
other devices? Yes,
that's what's weird.
Do we even know? But Carol, maybe she's distinct in the sense that she's one of the few people who owns a landline. So they think it might resonate with her to say, hey, landlines only. That's how you communicate anyway. I
was right as well that he was talking directly to her, because I had predicted that. A few of us actually on the Discord had predicted that, that he was speaking only to her, or they were speaking only to her. I love how she's just like, what the fuck?
I mean, that moment alone should enable her to consolidate that Emmy. I mean, I'm through with how overlooked she's been by that particular award ceremony.
Yeah.
I don't know what is it about the Emmys, but that makes me want Ray Seahorn to have more validation on top of the validation she's rightfully getting. But I don't know, that Emmy it's kind of a bucket list for me. I mean, and it's her performance. We get to see more of a cadence from her performance. That's more apparent compared to the teasers where her facial expressions are the ones doing all the talking. But now her mouth is actually moving.
Yeah, she's using her voice finally.
Words are coming out. And I mean, it sounds like Ray Seahorn. So, I mean, that's nothing new on that front. But we're getting a broader insight on how she's going to depict this Carol Sturka in this upcoming show. And I know dialogue isn't everything. In fact, I think I would go as far as to say you could literally have her say no dialogue. And she could just be one of those people who's just like, nods and just...
Well, we've heard that she's very chatty. Okay. We've heard that she's incredibly chatty.
We did.
Which is crazy, because I never... I would have never guessed that. I would have never guessed that.
A chatty Cathy or whatever they called.
I would have never guessed that she would have been loquacious. One other thing I noticed about the midway point of the trailer is she's standing on a truck. And outside of the emergency, people are flooding out, but they almost kind of are not walking like zombies, but definitely not really paying attention to her, but they're not in a rush either. But I noticed there was like a medical carrier bed on the back of the truck, and I'm wondering if she's going there to pick up somebody who's injured specifically. And
if you look at her reaction to that, it is
she
something
looks sad. Yeah,
that is the Emmy shot right there.
She looks so sad.
Something she's facing and I don't know. Maybe it could also maybe she's in some way responsible for this phenomenon that's taking place. She's seeing firsthand what her
she looks waterworks sad. She literally looks waterworks sad. I hate it.
I don't accept this. I don't allow them to make our girl Ray sad.
I know.
Like, I can't stand it. I haven't been to the early showing for the first 2 episodes, but I have a feeling this is something that happens as soon as the first or second episode when it comes out on November 7th. It feels like a catalyst moment. This sadness is going to drive her to do something, to be heroic, to save the world. This is emotionally resonating with her. I think it stands to reason that she's like, okay, I don't want to feel this shitty again. Let me try and prevent this, because she's miserable already. But her misery is reaching new heights. I think she wants to draw a line in the sand and say, okay, this is the moment Walter became Heisenberg. This is the moment Jimmy became Saul. Like, I think this is the moment that Carol Surka becomes, I don't know, but she becomes a hero. You know, she's not going to be a villain. This is not going to be her villain moment. This is going to be her call to heroism.
Another thing I noticed was, obviously, she had been brought food under the cloche. It looked like some mozzarella, some strawberries, mozzarella, some coffee, some orange juice. She then threw it in the bin with the cloche and everything. I'm curious if she's actually eating anything at all.
I think she is.
But what? Because if she can't get any,
well, clearly she's eating something that's trackable. I mean, one of the texts, refer to what, she likes to drink, which we'll get to. We'll get to more of these texts. But as you mentioned, actually, we're tracking her nutrients.
Yes.
I mean, there wouldn't be nutrients to track if she wasn't consuming some edible.
Right. But also they're saying she hasn't drunk.
She hasn't.
So I'm like,
Well, are we really taking their word for it? I mean,
I don't know. Because I don't know how they're tracking her, see?
Yes.
But clearly she's not accepting anything that they're giving to her. Yeah, so she must be getting some sustenance from somewhere.
I don't know if she's the kind of character who would go on a hunger strike and just not eat anything and refuse anything that's delivered to her on her doorstep. But she could be going on a hunger strike, but then what would she be protesting, or is there something more? I'm thinking this can go to very dark places. Maybe she just doesn't want to eat or drink anymore for whatever reason. She's too miserable to do any of those things. And they're trying to make her eat because that's one of the first ways they think could rebuild her happiness again.
Yeah.
Like just feeling like yourself. As in, they think she's not being herself. One of the ways when we want someone to be themselves again, we give them something to eat or drink just to re-energize and be nourished so they can focus on the bigger picture. But I think this is a way of they're trying to harass her as well. Like sending pizza to someone's home, for instance, it's just a way to say, hey, I know where you live.
Yeah.
That's why I knew the address to send you that pizza. You never told me that. Or maybe she's relocating and she's having to rent out all these different places so they can stop following her, but to no avail. And they're finding her left and right. There were a myriad of possibilities. And I'm trying my best to focus on at least one or two that make the most sense. I think she has eaten and
she must have done. She doesn't look emaciated. She's slim, but she doesn't look emaciated, So they haven't put makeup on her to make her look more emaciated. So I'm assuming she has.
And the way she's also not eating or drinking. The human body can only go 3 days without water and 3 weeks without food.
Yeah.
And she's not dropped dead because she hasn't eaten or drunk. She wouldn't have the energy to do things like drive a car or go out to take out the trash or, go to places like being in a commercial plane or, moving outside of being involved in some incident in a lab that caused her shirt to be bloody or whatever. Mm-hmm. She wouldn't be able to perform any physical movements if she really, really hasn't drunk water or eaten food. So that's my take on it anyway.
Who's doing the petri dish thing?
That is
who's doing that? Because it's the police that are holding it out for the swab. Who's doing the smiley face in the petri dish?
This is going to be a logistical nightmare. But are they doing this thing where it's he or she who holds the petri dish will become happy with and they manage to give everyone. And that's one of the few ways the virus can be transmitted. it could be a ritual or some sorts, maybe, or like a symbol. And the Petri dish was also front and center in the first poster for the series ever. So clearly the Petri dish is going to be a very, very important motif. All right. Well, if this is considered the official teaser, that means we have to get a full trailer pretty soon. As usual, we're going to cover it here on the show. But this is definitely more generous of a teaser than the other teasers that have come out. So moving on to the texts. So we've done a whole episode centered on texts that were sent to Carol.
Yeah.
And we want to stay up to date with them. So we want to go over a few more texts that we haven't covered on the show. So without further ado, let's begin with the first one that was sent on the 6th of October.
Yeah.
Hope you're enjoying the flight, Carol. May we offer you a drink? And then if you respond with yes, great. We made sure to stock the plane with all your favorite beverages. How about a zombie? Which is a drink, by the way. It's not referring to an actual zombie.
It's a cocktail, yeah.
Just like that one you had at Myrtle Beach in 1992.
What happened in Myrtle Beach, Carol?
What stays in Myrtle? What happens in Myrtle Beach stays in Myrtle Beach. I mean, that's kind of the vibe I'm getting.
Why do they know that? What happened?
I'm trying to figure out how far back Carol and this cult or hive mind go. 1992. I mean,
that was before I was born.
if I knew the exact present year in the Pluribus timeline, I mean, any of us, could just subtract 1992 from that year and be like, oh, okay, this was X years ago. Anyway, it still feels like a while ago, nonetheless. I mean, 1992 already sounds old, in this generation. So it's like, okay, perhaps that year could be referring to when she wasn't miserable. She was just, partying with her colleagues on some beach somewhere. I mean, the night's still young. She's enjoying herself. She's just listening to good old folk tunes. What went wrong, Carol? I mean, what happened to the good old days when you were happy, when you weren't a critical thinker? But, they're not going to say that. And also, we made sure to stock the plane of all your favorite beverages. So they want to fly her out somewhere. And they have a good memory, clearly, of what she drank and where she drank it and when she drank it. Myrtle Beach in 1992 with that zombie drink, which is a cocktail.
Yeah, someone said in the Discord that it is a potent classic tiki cocktail known for its complex blend of multiple rums. I love rum, by the way. Fruit juices like pineapple and lime, and unique ingredients such as falernum, grenadine, and sometimes absinthe.
I love grenadine.
Or cinnamon syrup. Created by Don Beach in the 1930s, it's a strong tropical drink that often features a high-proof rum float and is garnished with mint, a cherry, and an orange slice.
Okay, Carol, I already had hope for you. I'm already gushing over you, but just as I think you couldn't amaze me more, you are a character of taste. So, what do you think about the text?
Well, I just go back to the whole thing of, obviously they forced her on that flight. She was forced in that seat with the handcuffs. I think it's just kind of scary, she's obviously clearly being forced to do something now.
It's one thing to kidnap her in a car vehicle, but to take her to another country, it's already depraved to begin with. But it's so messed up. What are they forcing her to do is my primary question.
I think it's especially scary.
All our questions.
When they know very specific details about her past. I mean, 1992 is a long time ago. And, they remember the exact cocktail. How do they know? Are they being fed the information, or do they have some way to see into her brain?
Do you think they didn't know, but they just built a time machine and just went back in time? or found a way to project their consciousness back in time.
Maybe that's where the sci-fi comes in.
This is going to be sound insane. But what if they managed to project their consciousness backwards, back to 1992, and they were able to take photographs and video recordings, and then it became a transcript, which is what we see in that text message.
Yeah,
and it's like at that moment, as you're sending it, they retrieving that memory. So for whatever reason, they have access to it.
Yeah.
Now for the next text, which was sent 2 days after the previous one. Thanks for your patience, Carol. We know it's frustrating to feel like you've been kept in the dark. Hopefully that will change very soon. Now, I'm sure every Pluribus plan had a collective sigh of relief because that text had a meta meaning to it. Because we were waiting for the full teaser and we were kept in the dark. Okay, Vince, you kept us in the dark. And hopefully that will change very soon meant that, okay, this reassuring tone. And the same goes for, Carol. They're trying to be reassuring, but also while there's this veil of reassurance, what it really is ominous. And it's not much different from the other text. It's another gaslighting technique. Just like, what are you saying?
It's assumptions again.
It's a skill issue, Carol. Like the audacity.
It's like when people are like, "Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry you feel that way." It's like, okay, I know what you mean by that.
What do you think? Do you think they're keeping? Do you have anything in mind that they're keeping in the dark from her?
Maybe they have some hold over her. Maybe they have someone she cares about.
I thought so too. Yeah, I think so.
Because I don't really see what else she would really, they would be keeping her in the dark about.
Maybe they're saying hey, we know you don't like this problem you have as much as we do. We can tell you what's wrong with you and we can find out how to fix it. I mean, that could also be another interpretation for it. All right. Now that we've got these teasers and texts out of the way, we're going to be reading your listener theories. Now, what we usually do is that we read out the theories that you send in, which is linked in the submission form in the description below. Now, this week's theory comes from, he's also a Discord regular, and also one of our listeners feared Tremor. And the theory reads, my main theory is that Ray Seahorn's character is in a heavily dystopian society where some form of government experiment or even more obscure alien force has left humanity in a dangerous space where smiling itself is dangerous. Being happy or smiling at all triggers some kind of internal reaction, resulting in terrible casualties. She isn't alone in the world, so I don't see it as post-apocalyptic, but probably on the verge. Now, as of what made him come up with this theory, the premise and trailers heavily reminded me of the Murder on Arandonos DLC from the Outer Worlds. And in the DLC, parasites infect the masses, making them extremely euphoric. I see a similar theme, but with the people instead trying to actively avoid such a fate. The level of violence we will likely be exposed to, combined with happiness and smiles being a focal point, made me feel like there is a sinister force at work in Pluribus that makes happiness itself weaponized. Well, you're not wrong about happiness being weaponized. Ellie, what are your thoughts now that you're hearing this theory from Fear the Tremor?
I mean, this just makes me want to play Outer Worlds.
We should sponsor this episode, to be honest.
Yeah. It's a secret sponsor.
It's obscene that we're not.
No, but I think that's so interesting, because often when we think of weapons of violence, it's usually, like rage and anger and fear. And it's never usually happiness. And I think that's so I don't know how, because you said that it's going to give an internal reaction, causing terrible casualties. I'm wondering what that looks like.
I also don't think there's going to be some alien entity or force. We've covered it.
We've spoken about this, yeah.
Yeah, we've covered it in another episode. I do think there is a lot of merit with what you said towards the end. So I don't see this post-apocalyptic, but probably on the verge. I already get the sense that the pandemic has only just begun. Now, maybe the virus was in the works for a long time, but it could get worse. Like it's only going to get worse from there. I also want to get into what they based this theory on as well. The text on screen as we see Ray Seahorn's character walk off screen saying sorry about the blood gives me the feel of a corporation apologizing as if being a citizen where they are located might just come with a risk of blood being spit on you, as if it's nothing. Mm-hmm. Plus, reaction by itself, I could see it communicating a level of numbness as if this is a common occurrence. Yeah, I agree with that. I think it has been pretty normalized. I think a lot is going to happen within these 2 episodes. So first, Ray is going to have that initial shock, as we saw in the official teaser. But then maybe by around episode 2, she's just going to be, okay, so this is just another Tuesday. Now it's time for our happy and sad moments of this week. I'm going to begin with mine, then we're going to hear Ellie's. So my happy moment is that it rained yesterday, and I like the sound of rain. I mean, hearing it from my window and just ASMR does not do justice to just hearing just rain surrounding your building. I can't think of a sad moment for this week.
So my happy moment is that I started watching Hacks. Now, I should be continuing The Leftovers, but I feel like, I love what I've seen of The Leftovers, but you need to be in the right mind state to watch it. It's a very dense show, and it has a lot of layers. Not to say that Hacks doesn't, but Hacks is definitely more of a casual, chill watch. Like, each episode is about 30 minutes, and it's funny and just more chill. But I'm loving Hacks. I also love women double my age. So Ava's journey in unpacking that is very, very interesting, compelling, and also relatable. So I'm pretty hooked. And my sad moment is that I'm forever reminded that social interactions are just very difficult for me to navigate as a neurodivergent person. For anyone who knows me, they know that I like to make friends with pretty much everyone. And I'm always
even including an axe murderer?
Maybe not an axe murderer. And I'm always trying to see the positive in people, but sometimes in life you're faced with things just out of your control, like someone not liking you for any which reason, which is valid. Like, people are valid not to like you.
Are people valid not to like me though?
Yeah.
No,
but you just kind of have to move on. And continue to be yourself and not change for anyone unless you're like actively hurting somebody. But it doesn't.
Yeah, I was being slightly facetious there.
It doesn't make it any less sad in the moment to experience it, and confusing, and So my problem is I like to reach out to people way too much, and when you have autism and ADHD, there comes rejection sensitivity, and the more people you reach out to, the more you're going to get rejected, right? So, and that's just a fact of life, right? But
it's like also the more people you reach out to, you could also acceptance.
Oh, absolutely! I have such an amazing group of friends who I absolutely adore.
I'm glad. I'm happy for you.
And they're so supportive, and I'm obviously supportive of them, and they know my quirks and all the things that make me happy and sad, and that's great. But I'm always trying to make new friends as well, just because, you're only on this earth for a small amount of time. You may as well engage with people and try to bond with people who like similar things.
Horrific.
Yeah. So,
but also sad to be rejected from more potential friends, but I think
it is what it is. No, not everybody's gonna like
it. It is what it is,
and you're not gonna like everybody. There's definitely people I'm
glad we don't have to that we're not obligated to like everyone. Yeah. And not everyone's obligated to like us, because I would feel very caroled out if people were just.
Because everyone was
so content with me.
There might be just something about someone that just annoys you. And honestly, valid. Like, you don't have to explain yourself. But at the same time, as the person who feels a rejection of sorts, it's also valid to feel sad about it as well.
As much as it's agonizing as well, those feelings that come with rejection, or it can be like you're trying to apply for a job interview you and you get rejected.
Exactly,
Or you want to network with someone and they're like, nah, we're good. It's painful. I think there's also beauty in the pain, the darkness as well. Because I'm glad that not everyone, there's not a hive, not that I know of. We're not all grouped up in some hive mind. Because I think you have to feel rejection to feel the positive impact
yin
of
and yang
acceptance.
Again. Yeah, exactly.
The same way with other feelings, like grief. To grieve something, you had to have loved it very much. And you're glad that the thing, having an opportunity to just, and that's,
I'm too soft to be
empathy is a
about,
double-edged sword.
I'm too soft to be talking about grief.
I know.
But yeah. That's a very, a raw subject. But yes, I agree. I agree.
So, before you head out, be sure to like, subscribe, and rate this 5th episode of the podcast out of 5. Don't forget to follow us on social media, where we also have a Blue Sky and X,
Twitter,
formerly known as Twitter. Yes.
Nobody calls it X.
If you have any more theories before Pluribus premieres in just 2 weeks from now, please put them in our submission form, which you can find in the description below, and we'll cover that on our show. Until next time.